Guys, so welcome to another review video. And as I told you the other week, I didn't have any other laptop left to do a review of, and that's why I had to fetch for others. Fortunately, after the previous video, I've received another video from one of our clients, and gave me the laptop to just do a review of it to you guys, so that at least maybe some of you might be interested in having such kind of a laptop in future. At least can get to know about it, some of the features that maybe will entice you and some of the features that maybe you wouldn't like at the end of it all. So in front of me here I have the HP Elitebook 850G4. As you can see, this is how it looks. On the top it's silver, on the bottom we have this magnesium cover, black cover. You can see how the bottom is, yeah, and it's a 15.6 inch laptop. The screen size is 15.6 inch. So first and foremost, as usual, let's just have a look at the exterior outlook, the exterior design of this machine before we get to the interior design, and have a look at some of the advantages you'll have while using such a laptop and some of the advantages you'll face while using this laptop. So as usual, just as I said earlier, this machine, the body build is, you have this top cover, the top cover is made of aluminium alloy and it's silver, but on the screen, on the bezel, we have a plastic. Right here you have another aluminium casing on the keyboard. Then at the bottom we have magnesium casing that is black, coated in black. You can see the way it is. So as I said, this is HP Elitebook 850G4. I don't know if you can, if I zoom it closer, you can get to see the model. Let me just try to zoom it here. Okay, so right there you see 850G4. As you can see there, it's 850G4. So for the ports, as usual, on the right hand side we have the normal USB, you have the normal blue pin charger, the small pin for HPs, then, and it's common for the HP Elitebooks. You have the small pin. Then you have a SIM card slot here. We have a docking station here that most of you rarely use it. You have RJ45 port here. We have USB 3.0 type A port here. You have audio port here. So it comes with a display port instead of HDMI port. That's one of the disadvantages of having HP Elitebook, especially this series. You won't get the HDMI port, but you'll get a display port. So this is how it is. Again, you have USB type C Thunderbolt port here. An added advantage on this machine. On this other side, the left hand side, if you carry like the left hand side, you have, this is the docking station. This is a Kingston lock here. You have ventilation here for airflow out of the machine. You have VGA port, which is also crucial if you don't have maybe let's say you're using an extended display, a TFT that doesn't have HDMI, then the VGA will come in handy. You have another USB port here, and then you have card reader here. So one thing you've realized with this machine is that it has limited USB ports, only 2 USB ports. You have one on this side and then you have another one on this side. So you have a total of 2 USB ports, which when you're buying, you'll have to consider that, because you only have 2 ports. So let's assume you're using a wireless mouse, then one of your ports will be fully occupied. You'll only be left with a single port for maybe data transfer into the machine, plugging in your USB flash drives and other stuff. Therefore it means if you have this machine and you're somebody who uses a lot, you require so many ports, then you have to get a USB hub to further your data transfer or anything that you want to transfer in and out of the laptop. So on the interior side, we have, this is how it looks like. So the keyboard, as usual, advantage of this 15.6 inch laptop is that you have a keyboard that is you have the numerical keys here, right here. So if you're somebody who does things like statistics, things that deals a lot with numbers, then you'll have enough space, or you'll just be as comfortable as you always are with your external keyboard, or maybe in your office work, whereby you use those big keyboards that have numerical keys. Yeah, we have a track point here on the keyboard, just like on the Lenovo ThinkPads. And the keyboard, the feel is, I feel okay, it's not as much as the keyboard for the Lenovo ThinkPads, but at least I've tried. You see, even if you apply the pressure on the keyboard, it doesn't sink in. Yeah, the keys just work fine, as most of us will want. So for the keyboard, I think it's just okay, not as bad. Then on the trackpad, the trackpad is just sizable enough. You have this is like a glass here for the touchpad here. You have a glass surface that makes the feel, at least it's smooth, but very responsive. Then you have two touchpads, both at the top, and then you have two below. They function the same. So at times you have those users who are comfortable. Maybe if you're using your machine like this, then you'll need to use these, the ones on the top. Or maybe you're just browsing through your machine and then you're sitting like this, so maybe you just be dragging as you click, you drag as you click. So that's when the lower click pads come in handy. So right on top here we have the speakers. The speakers are upward firing, and one thing I like about the HP Elitebooks, especially this series from G3 to G4, the speakers are of good sound quality compared to the previous G2s and G1s, because the sound is just as awesome as we would want them to be. And right here we have Wi-Fi switch. Yeah, it's a mechanical one. Then you have a speaker switch here for muting. If you just want to mute the laptop while you're using it, just mute. Instead of having to deal with so many keys, just click on the mute button directly. Then on the display, see the way the display is 15.6 inch. You have the bezels. The bezels, one disadvantage of these bezels is that they're not as thin as the modern ones. So nowadays the modern one, the machines, they come with very thin bezels, not as this one. But again, even if it is not that thin, the screen display is big enough for you to do whatever you like to do with it. Yeah, so this is the power icon. And if you look at the keyboard clearly, there's one thing you'll realize, that you have this icon here for backlight. So the keyboard is backlit, meaning you can use the laptop in places that, in dark rooms, or maybe at night, yeah, without having to suffer so much from changing lighting from the display to the exterior lighting, especially in dark places. So much I've said about the exterior design and so many stuff. I was just forgetting something concerning the hinges. You see the hinges of this machine, we have plastic caps here, but the hinge is so stiff, and in fact it's very rare for you to come across such a laptop, a Elitebook version, with a broken hinge. Very rare. It's like 99% that you're never going to come across one with a broken hinge. The hinge are so good and just as strong enough. Maybe you can try the one hand lifting up the lid rule. We see if it works on this one as it works on MacBooks, because MacBooks have the best hinges and lid to the bottom cover ratio. So let's just try to lift it with a single hand, see if we can lift the lid up. So there you go. Let's see, we're almost getting there. Awesome. So it just passed the test for single hand lifting up of the lid. So that means that the hinges are so good. Yeah, they're not as stiff, and the bottom cover is at least weighty enough to hold the lifting of the lid. And another thing, this machine might be so bulky, like 15.6 inch in size, but at least it's not as heavy as the other machines. Yeah, it's light. It weighs about 1.4 kilograms. That is not bad for a machine. So let's just power it on, you see how many seconds or how long does it take to power on, and what are the internal features of this machine that maybe will entice you to have a look or have a go at it. So therefore, let's just turn it on and have the count. So we start it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it only took 9 seconds to turn it on, which is absolutely so fast. I know some of you have much better or much lower speeds, or some of you have higher turning on speeds, but at least 9 seconds is just good for this machine. So let's have a look at the specs. Remember, this machine, the speakers are, or the sound system is powered by Bang & Olufsen, which is so good for sound system in laptops. And if those of you who have it, you can attest to that. The speakers are so crispy and punch, just as you want a laptop speaker to be. So let's have a look at the internal specs. First, we start with the display. This is how the display looks like. Unfortunately, I'm not going to test different colors on this display, but one thing with displays, you realize that. Let's just have a look at the display settings here. So it's a 1920 by 1080 Full HD panel. That means the screen is just as good as you want it to be, and it doesn't reflect so much light. You can see from this other side there's lighting coming on to the screen, but it doesn't reflect it here. So it absorbs the light somehow, thus making it usable in places where you have so much light reflection, because it will get to absorb them. So at this mode, I've just can see where the light levels are. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to adjust light because I've not installed the graphic drivers on this one, so you won't be able to regulate the lighting. And as you can see, the keyboard is backlit, just as I said earlier. Yeah, backlit keyboard. You can control it with this key here. See, if you press it, see the FN and backlit here. There it's off, on, less dim, then off. So system properties of this machine. This is a HP Elitebook 850G4. Therefore, it comes with a, let me just show you the properties. So it comes with a COREI7 processor, 7th gen, with each CPU at 2.7 GHz speed, base speed. You have RAM of 16 GB. Yeah. Let me just take you to the task manager, where you can see all the properties of this machine. So you go to the task manager, then performance right there. So the CPU, as usual, as I said earlier, the base speed is 2.9 GHz. You can see there. You have a single socket as usual. Then it comes with 2 cores, 4 logical processors. Yeah. For the memory, you have 16 GB of RAM, which is so much for your daily day-to-day needs or use. Then it comes with SSD. I've not installed the graphic drivers, but it comes with Intel Ultra HD 4 GB of integrated graphics, which is equally good. So with this machine, with all the specs that I've shown you there, you realize that with the RAM here, there's something that I've not showed you about the RAM here. For the RAM, you have 2 slots. You can see here, you have 2 RAM slots. Therefore, it means in this machine, currently it has 2 slots. So each slot is having 8 GB of RAM, but you can upgrade it to 1616 so that you can have 32 GB of RAM, which can make it as powerful as you want it to be. And with all those specs about this machine, with this laptop, you can do, apart from the normal Office or Microsoft Word duties, filling in data on Chrome and other stuff, you can also use this laptop for entertainment, video editing, and even video rendering. You can also do some light gaming on this machine because you have a very good processor. You have 4 GB of integrated graphics that can manage light gaming, and The speakers are also good for entertainment, therefore meaning if you're watching movie on this machine, then you'll have very good speakers with you. And I think I've just installed the graphic drivers. Let me just show you here. So you have Intel HD graphic drivers, Intel HD 620, just right there you can see. And you can do so many things with this machine. Let's just have a test of the camera and see if it is proper for Zoom meetings and other stuff. So just type on the camera as usual. Let's just turn it on so that at least you get to see my mobile phone. So that is the camera, you can see. Yeah, there's no lag on the camera, therefore it means it can manage your, see how it is quite sharp. It can manage your daily needs for webcam services. And so much to be said about this machine. I know there's some of the things that I've not described on this review, but some of them maybe you can browse and you can get to see some tests maybe, or comparison of this processor, things that it can handle and things that the processor cannot handle. Remember, it's a COREI7 processor with a base speed of 2.7 GHz that can turbo up to 3.5 GHz. It comes with 16 GB of RAM. So what more will you want to do with this machine that you can't do with it? Remember, it's budget friendly, and right here where I'm doing the review, because I'm from Kenya, this machine comes at only 35,000 Kenyan shillings. I don't know how it is in your country, but I feel with that price, with all those specs, it's worthy. And I was just forgetting one thing, the battery. The battery of this machine is so durable. If you're doing normal stuffs, normal light duty works on the laptop, it can take you up to 7 hours of battery life. That is almost a day, because that's almost a day. And if you're doing heavy work on it, then you expect the battery to go for like 4 hours, because I've done some tests on it and I've seen how good or how the battery performs. So much I've said about this machine, and from the review I can say it's just as good machine as somebody will want. The only disadvantage with it is the size, because 15.6 inch, it's bulky, therefore it means you'll have to buy a bigger bag for it to fit in. Otherwise it's just as fine as you'll want your favorite machine to be. See you next time on another review. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this account if you are somebody new to the channel. See you next time.